Hi everyone, it's your favorite realtor Shade. So I've had a lot of controversies surrounding C of O being the best land title. If it's not C of O, I'm not buying, which led me to doing this video. But before I dive into the various controversies surrounding C of O, I'll be talking briefly about the four land titles we have, which is the excision, Gazette, governor's consent, and the C of O. What is an excision? An excision basically means taking a part from a whole. So let's take for example now, Aja and Ilaje axis put together is 100,000 square meter. So the government now decided to take out 60,000 square meter being Ilaje for themselves and then release 40,000 square meter being Aja to the community. So that 40,000 square meter that has been released to the community is excised. This excised land is what they can sell from. So that particular excised land is called excision. So an excision, a land without an excision can be taken over by the government in the future with no compensation. So that takes me to Gazette. Gazette is an important document of the government where informations are being recorded. So that 40,000 square meter that has been given to the community, that has been excised to the community, will now be recorded in the government's book known as a Gazette. Gazette is a very powerful instrument to the community that can replace a C of O for them. So that takes me now to the C of O. A C of O is a land document officially given by the government to an individual to lease any land under the state to you. So a C of O is an officially recognized land document to demonstrating land title. A C of O can also be used as an individual as collateral to accessing loan from the bank. So that takes me to governor's consent. A governor's consent is a document you obtain when you buy a land with a C of O. A governor's consent notifies the general public and the government that this particular land has changed hands. So what that means is, me, for example now, I am Mrs. A, own a land with a C of O. So I decided to transfer ownership to Mr. B. So what Mr. B, the document Mr. B will be obtaining now is called governor's consent. So if Mr. B decides to change ownership to Mr. C, Mr. C will also obtain a document called governor's consent. So it goes on and on like that, which means a C of O can only be obtained once in a lifetime. That particular land can only have a C of O once in a lifetime. Once it changes ownership from one person to another and on, the document that will be obtained on that particular land is governor's consent. So I hope with this few points of mine, I've been able to convince and not confuse you about the four different land documents we have. So in case you are looking for a trusted realtor to work with in Lagos, don't hesitate to call me. Kindly call the number on your screen. Thank you for listening.